So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, we are about to start. Lucky Koli, Mohit, good morning. Shai Kaisha, good morning. So here we are about to start the session. I'll upload the PDF in our Telegram group. You can download the PDF. Just give me a minute. I'll upload the PDF. So the PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF from our Telegram group. Rahul, Ashwini, Praful, Yashwini, good morning all. Ishika, good morning. चलिए, so let's start the session without wasting much time. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. Googly, good morning. चलिए, so here we are. Now, if you see in this particular page here, we have this news that 4 killed in Srinagar gunfight. Okay, so there was an encounter in that people are losing their life. Now you need to understand this particular topic of Kashmir. Okay, it can be there like in your GS paper 2 in India-Pakistan relations. If there is a question on India-Pakistan relations, then it is important that you mention about the Kashmir and the violence that is going on in Kashmir. Because this is the state-sponsored terrorism carried out by Pakistan. Okay, state-sponsored terrorism. So there you have to mention till the time this state-sponsored terrorism is going on in Pakistan, definitely we cannot have good relations with Pakistan. That's for one point here. Other thing, if you look into the other aspect of it, now there can be another question in your GS paper 3 as well. Okay, that can be related to your internal security, GS paper 3 internal security, and we will cover that aspect also. I'll show you the question also that UPSC has asked. Okay, recently UPSC did ask a question and we will look into that as well. Now before moving ahead, you should know about this particular point. If there is violence, if civilians are losing life, okay, if civilians are losing life, if there is violence, and if it means that there is an issue of law and order here, okay, so under that environment, definitely your economic activity cannot be carried out. आपकी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी नहीं होगी. Okay, and this is what Pakistanis want. Now why the economic activity is really important here, so please pay attention. When there will be economic activity, there will be employment. Okay, if there is economic activity, there will be employment generation. Now if there is employment, it means that youth will start working. If there is no economic activity, it means that employment opportunities are not there for youth. Okay, and there are chances that without the employment, youth will get alienated. Okay, now these alienated youth, they are most vulnerable for terror recruitment. Alienated youth, it act as a recruitment ground for terrorist organization. It act as a recruitment ground for terrorist organization. Now that's the major concern here. So you should know about this particular point. You should know the design of Pakistan, how they are thinking and what they want to do, what they want to achieve. Okay. what they want to achieve. So this is the point which is there. So let's look into a few things in detail here. Now this is the question which has been asked in your mains 2019. Okay, the question that has been asked in your mains 2019. Why I am just highlighting this question? So the question is basically focusing on the role of overground workers. Role of overground workers. Now what has happened in this encounter? Overground workers, okay, they have lost their life. One of the overground worker, he has lost their life, he has been killed. Now what are these overground workers? That's the important aspect of this particular question. And further the UPSC is asking that, okay, examine the role played by overground worker in assisting the terrorist organization in insurgency affected areas. Okay, further they are asking discuss the measures to neutralize the influence of overground workers. Now these overground workers, they are just supporters. You need to understand this thing. They might not be indulged in direct terror activity. Directly terror activity में शायद ना indulged हो. And other than that, they can be a part of sleeper cell as well. Okay, they can be a part of sleeper cell. That means they can be used for a tactical purpose. Okay, tactical purpose means to cause violence. Tactical purpose means to cause violence after getting instruction from your leaders. After getting instruction from their leaders. That's the point here. Okay. So let's look into the demand of this particular question. Let's see the definition of this. So overground workers, now they have been core tools for insurgency movement. Now this overground worker, this is not confined to terrorism only. Okay. If you look into the aspects of Naxalism, they also have these overground workers which provide support to them, which is going to arrange logistics for them, which is going to arrange funding for them, which is going to provide intelligence to them. That's the point here. Now this is not confined only to the terrorist organizations. Okay, I told you about this particular point. For Naxals also, these overground workers, they are existing. And over the time, what has happened? The distinction has blurred. Distinctions has blurred means that with the time, over the time, they can carry out small scale strikes. They can carry out small scale strikes after getting instruction from their bosses. Okay, so they might not use AK-47. So AK-47 will be carried by the trained terrorists from Pakistan. Okay, they might not use AK-47, but definitely they know how to use pistol. So with the help of pistol, there can be a case of targeted killing. Okay, there can be a case of targeted killing, that okay, you will identify a person, you will identify a businessman, and that businessman can be killed by them. That businessman can be killed by them. That's the point here. Now one person is asking a question, which is sleeper cell. Okay, so sleeper cell, basically they are terrorists or insurgents who are not active, or completely passive for time being, say for 1 year, for 1.5 year, for 2 year, they will not show any activity. But after getting instruction from their boss, they will start striking, they will start their activity, and they are termed as sleeper cell. And they do exist, but overground workers, they are somehow a bit different, because they have the prime role to provide ideological support, to provide logistic support, and all those things. Okay, so these are some of the roles played by the terrorist organization, like on ground workers of terrorist organizations. So they provide logistic support, like terrorists, they need some lodging, they have to stay somewhere, so that house can be provided by them. Okay, then managing funds, they arrange funds for the terrorists. Now Pakistani terrorists, if they are coming to Kashmir, definitely they require rupee to operate, so Indian rupee unko dena, so managing funds and all. Providing ideological support, definitely this is the most critical part. They require the ideological support. Spreading message of their organization. Okay, providing radicalization support, definitely they want to radicalize the whole society regarding their religion and all, ये सारी चीजें होती हैं, ठीक है ना. Then recruitment of terrorists, particularly the radicalized youth. I told you about this particular point. So this radicalized youth, okay, it means that they are so adamant for their religious ideology that they want to fight a war. This is the level of radicalization which they might propagate in youth. आपके youth के अंदर इतने level का radicalization वो फैला देंगे टेररिस्ट आइडियोलॉजी को सपोर्ट करने के लिए, टू सपोर्ट द टेररिस्ट आइडियोलॉजी. ओके, देन जनरेटिंग नेगेटिव परसेप्शन अबाउट इंडियन फोर्सेस. ओके, सो इन कश्मीर, so this is the systematic, you can say, activity that they carry out. They make perceptions, negative perception about India. Okay, that Indian government, okay, they are doing this and that, Indian army doing this and that. So negative perceptions. And these days this is the era of information warfare. You should pay attention here. Okay, so present era is of information warfare. Now in the present era of information warfare, that definitely it's a concern. Okay, definitely it's a major concern, because perception matters a lot. So these days wars are fought, and these are perception battles which the organization, which the country, they are fighting. Okay, so in Kashmir it is really important that we win this perception battle, that India is good for the Kashmiris. That's why we always emphasize that we have to win their hearts. Okay, we always have to win their heart. Now the other demand of the particular question is that how you are going to counter the overground workers. Okay, that, okay, what are the measures that are available to you and how you are going to counter them. So this is the point here. Now the suggestion is that Public Safety Act is an ideal tool to book terror elements and overground workers to prevent them from disrupting peace and security. It means that definitely you have to arrest them. कहीं ना कहीं आपको उनको अरेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. एंड दिस इज द प्रोविजन, पब्लिक सेफ्टी एक्ट. अंडर दिस प्रोविजन डेफिनेटली दे कैन बी अरेस्टेड. ओके, फर्दर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई देम. ओके, सो देयर इज अ नीड टू जॉइंटली मैप देम आउट. टेररिस्ट, एंटी नेशनल्स, all the elements who are existing in a particular area, you have to identify them, you have to map them out. Okay, this person is living over there, he is having this ideology. Through Facebook and other ways he is like definitely maligning the image of India. So you have to keep a watch over them, you have to clearly like monitor them. Okay, other thing is that due care should be taken to ensure that the local police gets the due credit, okay, for the operations that are carried out. See, this is one of the complaint that local police have, that in India, Indian army, they takes away all the credit. Okay, and no credit is given to the local police. So this is the point here, because local police is going to gather intelligence for you. Intelligence gathering will be done by the locals. That's the most critical part. So you cannot undermine their role. Their morale is really important, because they are locals. They know that which person is doing what, कि कौन सा आदमी क्या कर रहा है, who is overground workers and how he is operating. Local police, they have their own network of intelligence. They know more than rest of other agencies. Okay, this is the point here. So they should be given the due credit. Other thing is that time spent by youth in jail should also be monitored. Now this is the fundamental point here. You have to categorize criminals. Okay, you have to categorize criminal. Why I am saying this? See, some of them are hardened criminals. Okay, some of them are hardened criminals, hardened terrorists, and some of their forces stone pelting. If a youth is behind the bars for stone pelting, it is the responsibility of the jail administration that they should not allow youth to meet those hardened criminals. It means that they should be kept separately. Okay, they should be kept separately, because what happens, sometimes the youth can also be radicalized in the jail itself. जितना वो बाहर पहले रेडिकलाइज नहीं था, जेल में जाके और रेडिकलाइज हो सकता है. Okay, so in like jail can be a breeding ground for terrorism, local terrorism. This is the point here. From there the youth can be recruited. The youth can be recruited. So you have to avoid such scenario. At every cost you have to avoid such scenario. That's why It is important that you keep a watch over the youth who has been jailed here. Okay, then I'm telling you this thing, your intelligence network, it is going to play a very important role. You have to identify people by your intelligence agencies. Okay, they have to play a really important role. You have to carry out the sting operation to identify that okay, this person is carrying out this recruitment activity, this is how he is radicalizing the youth, this is how he or she is pushing youth into militancy. You need to have the proof, you need to have the proof, and subsequently you have to neutralize them, you have to destroy their support. Okay, I am not saying this can be done in an easy way, it is going to take some time. Okay, this activity will also take some time. So Bhaskar Nandan, like you are asking, sir, please throw some light on mob lynching. Okay. Now you tell me one thing. Like he's asking doubt over mob lynching. So the most important part is that we have no specific law. Okay, we have no specific law to counter mob lynching. To counter mob lynching. Okay, it means that if a particular group of people, okay, if a particular group of people, they are indulged in that lynching activity, we have no specific law here in India. The only legal provision that you have is under the CRPC. Okay, is under the CRPC. And the problem with this is that you cannot book whole group, whole village. Okay, you cannot book whole group. Okay, that this group is responsible for this murder. That's the problem here. So in the mob lynching activities, it is really difficult, and we have to remove that difficulty, that you identify the main culprit, you identify the main culprit. Okay, so this is what we have in mob lynching. And definitely radicalization, okay, it is, you can say that it may lead to mob lynching, it may lead to mob lynching. That's the important part here. Okay, so we'll move to the next part here, next news, that is NRC only 1032 doubtful cases referred. Okay, NRC only 1032 doubtful cases referred for review. Okay, now this is the long prolonging thing which is going on. Let's look into the historical aspect of it. Okay, so let's see the history of it. Now NRC, it was first started or first brought in 1951, and specifically you knew about the time, this was the time when India was partitioned, so people were moving from one country to other, that is from Pakistan to India and India to Pakistan. Okay, so at that time it was really important that we carry out that census activity and we maintain a register. Okay, that these are the Indian citizens, and their name and their houses, where they are staying, how they are living, the property that they are holding, and all those things were mentioned in that register. Okay, that was the point here. And this NRC was published only once in 1951, that is National Register of Citizen, it was like published only once here. Now in Assam there was a problem in the sense that problem appeared during the Bangladesh war. Okay, during the Bangladesh war, and we knew about this particular fact, how at that time again refugees were coming from Bangladesh. Okay, refugees were coming on Bangladesh, there was a mass scale migration. Okay, there was a mass scale migration. Now what is happening because of this mass scale migration? The problem with such thing is that it impacts the demographia of a particular region. Okay, demographia of a particular region, the whole population dynamics in a particular area, it will be changed. पूरे area का population dynamics आपका बदल जाता है. That's the point here. Okay, and this is why there was a protest movement in Assam. Okay, that these people who have come from Bangladesh, they should be sent back to Bangladesh. They should be sent back to Bangladesh. Multiple petitions were filed, there was a judgment that okay, again this activity of National Register of Citizen, that is registration of the people, it will be carried out, and after the court judgment this was implemented. It was implemented. The list was prepared initially. After the first preparation of list, 20 lakh people were identified, that okay, these people, they don't have the document, so they are not the local resident of India, or they are not the citizen of India, or they are illegal immigrants or migrants. That's the point that was highlighted. Now, there have been a fundamental challenges in this particular thing. See, you need to understand, Bangladesh is not going to take them back, that's for sure. Okay, so that's why there is uncertainty about the future of those who are left out from the list. What type of future do we have? Expelling them to Bangladesh, this is not an option, because Bangladesh is not going to accept it. Okay, they are not going to accept it. And we are having no formal agreement. And we cannot by force push them back to Bangladesh. That's one of the issue. If we ever try to do that, it will impact our relationship with Bangladesh. Definitely our relationship with Bangladesh will be impacted. So this is the point here. That this is somehow a very difficult activity to do. So deportation, definitely this is not an option. The other option that is left is with the detention camp. Okay, that you make camps, keep them in camps. आप उनको आइडेंटिफाई करो, टेक देम फ्रॉम द मेन स्ट्रीम एंड कीप देम सेपरेटली इन द कैंप्स, कि आप उनको अलग से कैंप्स के अंदर रखो. ओके, नाउ द पॉइंट हियर इज दैट इफ वी कीप देम इन कैंप्स, इट मींस दैट डेफिनेटली दिस इज अनलाइकली फॉर द सिविलाइज्ड डेमोक्रेसी लाइक इंडिया. आपके लिए बिल्कुल भी ये शोभा नहीं देता कि आप उनको बिल्कुल कैंप में मेंटेन करके रखोगे. ओके, सो लाइक वी आर अ डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी, डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री, वी हैव टू respect the democratic principles. That's the point here. Okay, we have to respect the democratic principles. So that's why the whole activity is quite difficult. Still it will appear again and again. Okay, so courts cannot interfere with day-to-day temple rituals. This is what Supreme Court is pointing out. Okay, so definitely, see, courts have some limitations, okay, related to religion. Courts have some limitations over the working of religion. Religion itself is a very sensitive topic here. Okay, sensitive in the sense, definitely we have fundamental right, that we have the right to way we want to profess our religion and practice our religion. ये हमारा fundamental right है कि हम जैसे चाहें अपने religion को practice कर सकते हैं. Okay, now here you need to understand, you can give the example why this particular fact is important. Suppose there is a question, any other question over say secularism. Okay, so there again you have to write this particular thing, that writ jurisdiction of the Constitutional Court, that is Supreme Court, under Article 226 and 32 is limited. Okay, the jurisdiction is limited. This is what you have to write, because in the mains answer sometimes we have to mention about such things, we have to mention about such judgments. That's the important part here, and this is what you have to do here. You should be knowing, you will be writing about that. Okay, Supreme Court is saying this, that it has the limitations in every day-to-day matter. Definitely court cannot govern. Okay, court cannot give judgment over the working of temples on day-to-day basis. If there was a larger constitutional debate, definitely the Supreme Court could have given the judgment, but primarily on the day-to-day working of temples, definitely the court cannot provide any, or court cannot intervene. Okay, and this is what Supreme Court is saying here. Okay, so they are saying that we know that some of the petitions, they are filed in public interest, but this is not the way. We have our limitation and we know our limitation, and that's the important thing, that the courts, they should know their limitations. Okay, so here it's a welcome judgment. So we'll move to the next part here, that is your editorial section. And today we are going to cover two editorials. Okay, one is related to the Afghanistan and the Kashmir relationship. It's a very important thing here. They are highlighting few important points. So Kabul, Kashmir and the return of real politics. Okay, ठीक है ना? So let's see what they are pointing out, what he is pointing out. So basically he is saying that India is in a catch 22 situation. Okay, so why he is mentioning about this catch 22 situation? He is saying that we are in a dilemma in the sense, at one point we have Afghanistan, we have a dilemma whether we should provide support to them. Okay, if we support them, okay, if India assists them, if India provide support to them, if India help them out, help the Taliban government over there, then Pakistan will not be happy with this. Then Pakistan will not be happy with this, and Pakistan will increase the attack in Kashmir. Okay, so in Kashmir area, Pakistan will increase their attack, increase their terror supported activities. That's the point here, and that's the concern, that's the dilemma for us. That to what extent can we go ahead? To what extent can we go ahead? To what extent can we have closeness with Taliban? That's the decision that India has to make, and this is what they are saying. This is a catch 22 situation. Now, if you don't support them, okay, if you don't support them, then it means that in the whole region we will have no role. In the whole region we will have no role. Whatever investment that we have done, we have invested near about $3 billion in Afghanistan, in the development of Afghanistan, everything will be lost. So are we ready to do that? That's the point here. That's why it's a catch 22 situation. इधर भी गिरे उधर भी गिरे, ऐसा ये बता रहे हैं. Okay, so recently, like, India organized a particular summit in which, in that, Taliban representative, they were also present. Then national security advisors from different countries, they were also present there. Okay, so that particular activity was primarily to increase the stability in Afghanistan, to make sure that Afghanistan develop and prosper like a stable nation. This is what we envision, this is what we want. ये हमारी vision है और ये हम चाहते हैं. Now India advances, and indeed if India is advancing in this direction, if India is improving its relations with Taliban, then it will deteriorate India-Pakistan relation. It will definitely deteriorate India-Pakistan relation. Okay, now look at the design of this particular summit that we organized. In that, Russians took part in it, Central Asian countries, they took part in it. Okay, so this editorial mentions one thing, that Russians and the Central Asian states, they are not having the ability, and neither they have the desire, okay, to make any effort in Afghanistan. This is what he is pointing out. Another thing is that the two major players, that is Pakistan and China, they were absent from that summit. They didn't take part in that summit. Okay, they were absent from that summit. Other thing is that what they are saying, China already has this design of Belt and Road Initiative, and definitely the China-Pak Economic Corridor, it will be extended to Afghanistan. Okay, it will be extended to Afghanistan. It means that they are already in a strong position. Okay, they are already in a strong position, because one thing, they supported Taliban, okay, they are already in a strong position. They want stable country, Afghanistan as a stable country, and in that part also, even the Taliban want India to play some role. Okay, even the Taliban is looking up to India, that okay, India should also carry out the developmental activity which they were doing it earlier. वही चीज वो आज हमसे मांग रहे हैं. And this is the dilemma for India. Okay, this is the dilemma for India. We have already discussed that, okay, if we are not going to help Afghanistan, again it's a problem. Why you want to lose out? Why you want to lose out? And other parties, other, you can say, powers, they will occupy that space. अगर आप participate नहीं करोगे तो कोई और participate करेगा. That's one point. If we are participating, then it may make Pakistan aggressive against us. Pakistan may start targeting again Kashmiris and Indians, in, like, they may increase the violence in Kashmir. So we don't want that situation as well. Okay, so this is the dilemma. Like, India faces a new dilemma in Afghanistan. Like, first one, to decide whether to engage with Taliban or not. Because engaging with them, it means that you are giving legitimacy to them. Okay, you are giving legitimacy to them. That's one point is that. Successive governments in Afghanistan, including the current Taliban regime, they want relations with India, and this is going to upset Pakistan. Pakistan, they have always have this deep suspicion about growing India-Afghanistan relations. Okay, they don't want this, and definitely this is the dilemma for us. This is the dilemma for us. Okay, the Taliban want India to engage and help the country to stabilize, but Pakistan, they are not ready for that. This is one point here. Okay, if we tries to improve our relationship with Taliban, Pakistan will definitely increase the heat in Jammu and Kashmir. So you will see that Pakistani activity in Jammu and Kashmir will increase. Pakistani activity in Jammu and Kashmir, it will increase, and we don't want this at any cost, and we don't want this at any cost. That's the major point here. That's the major point here. Okay, so this is the debate. So Mr. Garuda, I have already provided the PDF for this particular session. Okay, so let's move to the next part here. Let's move to the next part. Now this is the editorial that you have to do on your own. Okay, so longer term, better impact. This is the one that we'll be doing here. Now recently you must be hearing that okay, government has passed an ordinance. So through that ordinance route, they have like made an arrangement through which they can give extension to the officials, to the directors, to the secretaries, etc. Okay, so this provision has been made, and we will look into that in detail. So here it is. Now recently an ordinance has been passed which allows the center to extend the tenure of director of CBI, extend the tenure of director of CBI. Okay, and government, it will be the government's prerogative to decide whether to give extension to CBI ED director or not. Okay, so in that, opposition now they are smelling some rat in this. Okay, they are not happy with this. One point is that as the ordinance route was taken, because there was no parliamentary debate and discussion, so there has been a fundamental doubt over the ordinance route itself, that why government is evading, why the party in power, they are evading the discussion, the parliamentary discussion. That's the point here. Okay, why are they evading this discussion? Now the major thing is that whether long tenure, is it desirable or not? क्या long tenure होना, is it desirable or not? That's the point here. Other thing is that why the opposition is raising the voice. Opposition is primarily raising the voice because there are concerns over the working of organizations like CBI and ED. We know how they have been misused. We know how they have been misused. That's the point here. Okay, so over the years there have been multiple cases where they have been misused. So over the years there have been multiple cases where they have been misused. Okay, now recent ordinance, definitely the debate is that whether it is in line to have longer tenure. If you look into the world over practices, so FBI, their chief, investigation chief, okay, so their chief, they get 10 years term. They get 10 years term. The point it is making that 2-year terms for a CBI head or any head of an organization, it is inadequate. इतने बड़े लेवल पे आप किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को हेड करते हो, so it is inadequate. That is one part here. Okay, so they are giving the case of FBI, that FBI, their chief gets 10 years term. Now this provide much needed continuity to the director to take some step, to take some innovative action, okay, to improve the working of an organization. This is the point here. If they want that organization to improve, longer tenure provides some stability, and definitely they can bring in new ideas. That's the point here. Okay, that's the point here. That the fundamental problem is with this. One is the ordinance route. It means that there was no parliamentary debate and discussion. Okay, there was no parliamentary debate and discussion. This is one part of it. Other thing is that government has not given the straight 5-year terms. It means that the provision is of granting 1-year extension at a time. Okay, that at a time 1-year extension can be given. It means that the official will get 3 annual extension, and here it can be misused. here it can be misused by the government, because officials definitely they would like to have longer tenure. They might ask for longer tenure to the government in return of something, in return of something. So political masters, they might start misusing this particular provision. Okay, so political leaders, they might start misusing this particular provision, and that's the cause of concern for us. That's the major concern for us. Okay, this is the point which has been highlighted here. So we'll move to the next part here. आगे चलते हैं. So देखते हैं आगे क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे. Okay, so CBI is an autonomous body. Again, center is telling the Supreme Court, but we know about this particular fact. Okay, how CBI has been, you can say, like termed as caged parrot. Okay, CBI has been termed as caged parrot, and we know that how it is misused specifically through target the opposition. Okay, opposition को target करने के लिए आप ये सब करते हो. That's the point here. That's the point here. Okay, now, like, what reforms can we bring to reform the working of CBI? What exactly can be done? So you should know about this particular case. There is a case for CBI reform, that is Vineet Narayan case. Okay, that is Vineet Narayan case. Vineet Narayan was a journalist. He filed a case in a Supreme Court for reforms in CBI. Okay, to bring reforms in CBI. The Supreme Court, they came out with the judgment. Okay, the Supreme Court came out with the judgment, but the point here is that the judgment has not been implemented in totality. Okay, there is, you can say, poor implementation of that judgment at the end of executive. हमने उसे ढंग से implement ही नहीं किया, and that's the major concern here. So till the time we are not going to reform this particular organization, the doubts are going to stay. Now, what sort of reforms can we bring? See, some of the reforms are already being done. Okay, you should know about those reforms as well. Now, there is a fixed tenure for a CBI chief. Okay, fixed tenure का arrangement है यहाँ पे. This is one thing here. Other thing is there, the director of CBI, definitely he enjoys some financial powers. Director of the CBI, he enjoys some financial powers. Definitely it's a good thing. Okay, it means that again they are not dependent on the government in totality. This is one thing which has been done. Other thing is that if you look into the appointment, like whole selection process, so there is a 3-member committee, and in that the role of opposition is also there. Okay, so like role of opposition is there in selecting the person that who will be appointed as CBI chief. So this is how some of the efforts have been made, but this is still inadequate. Why it is still inadequate? You need to understand one thing. At the end of the day, the cadre controlling authority for CBI is the government only. Okay, so it is not autonomous in totality. It is not autonomous in totality. It is still going to take some of the instructions. It is going to take instructions from the government only. That's the point here. So IPS officers who are appointed over there, definitely, like Home Ministry is their cadre controlling authority. Then Ministry of Personnel, it will look into the appointment. आपके director को वहाँ से होगा ना appointment. So this is the point here. Okay. So in totality, they are not free. So this is the point here. So we have to do something more to make sure that the CBI remains a free organization. Okay. So we'll move to the next part. Now Navy plans for a 170 ship force on course. Okay. See, you need to understand why we are investing on Navy. Why we are investing on Navy? One of the reason is that competition from China. Okay. So definitely if the Chinese naval presence is increasing, you have to increase it. आप चाइना की नेवी बढ़ रही है, तो you have to make sure that you have the way to counter it. Okay, that's why we are working on our naval power. Other thing is that India is looking as a role of net security provider. Okay, role of net security provider in the region, specifically in the Indian Ocean region. Okay. So we want to emerge as a net security provider in Indian Ocean region. For that, definitely we want the capacity, जिसे बोला जाता है कि blue water navy. Okay, blue water navy. Now blue water navy is the term used for the naval power which have the capacity to move out of their waters and target the other areas as well. अपने पानी से बाहर निकल के दूसरे एरिया में भी टारगेट कर सके. ओके, सो देयर वी हैव दिस टर्म कॉल्ड ब्लू वाटर नेवी. सो फॉर दिस पर्पज ऑल्सो वी वांट टू हैव the capacity in our navy, and that's why we are working on this particular thing. Okay, we are like definitely indigenously made more aircraft carriers will be, you can say, in the, like included in Indian Navy now. Right now we are left with just one aircraft carrier, that is INS Vikramaditya. We will be needing more, and right now we are working on the indigenous मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. ओके, कि हम इंपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, अपना खुद का जो है वो बनाएंगे. दैट्स द पॉइंट दैट वी आर लुकिंग इनटू. ओके, सो उस चीज की तरफ हम आगे चल रहे हैं. सो ये चीजें आपको ध्यान रखनी है थोड़ी, दैट व्हाई वी वांट टू हैव नेवल पावर, बिकॉज दिस इज द रीजन. ओके, दिस इज द रीजन. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे देखते हैं. Now Afghanistan US diplomats meet National Security Advisor. Okay, so they discussed about few things related to Delhi Declaration. Whatever declaration was made, that okay, India said that there should be like humanitarian aid to Afghanistan, and we also announced that we will be providing 50,000 ton of wheat to Afghanistan through Pakistan route. Okay, and even the Taliban, they are saying that okay, Pakistan should allow the Indian wheat to reach Afghanistan, कि इंडियन व्हीट बिल्कुल जो है अफगानिस्तान तक पहुंच सके. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर वर्किंग ऑन हियर. ओके, एंड राइट नाउ देयर इज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक इमरजेंसी विच इज गोइंग ऑन इन अफगानिस्तान. व्हाई दिस emergency is arising? Okay, see, you need to understand, I have told this multiple times. If you look into the working of Afghan government, the earlier government of Afghanistan, okay, so whatever spending that he used to carry out, 80% of the funds were arranged from United States and allies. 80% of the funding was from them, and right now this support is not existing anymore. So that's why there is sort of a economic crisis which is going on in Afghanistan. ऐसी situation बनी हुई है. That's why they are exploring ways. They need help from multiple countries. Okay, and they are asking help from India. This is the point here. This is the point here. Okay, so let's look into this particular news, that government keeps no net shutdown record. Okay, so he is highlighting about few points here. Let's look into this. See, you need to understand, whenever there is a internet shutdown, why government carries out internet shutdown. Okay, so internet shutdown, whenever it is carried out, primary reason is for security purpose. Okay, that it may impact the peace of a particular area and law and order situation can be impacted. Okay, कहीं ना कहीं law and order की problem हो सकती है, and this is the reason given by the government before announcing a internet shutdown. But you need to understand, these days internet is really part of our life. So if the internet is being shut down, it means that in some way or the other your life will be impacted. Okay, so we have the fundamental right. Now Supreme Court declared fundamental right like freedom of speech and expression and freedom to practice any profession over the medium of internet. It enjoyed constitutional protection under Article 19A and 19(1)(g). So we have this constitutional protection, the fundamental right, that is to carry out our profession and as a freedom of speech and expression. And there, if there is internet shutdown, it means that in some way or the other there will be a violation of fundamental right. There will be a violation of fundamental right. Along with that, the Supreme Court has also suggested a principle called principle of proportionality. Okay, principle of proportionality. Now in that they will look into the, you can say, cost benefit analysis. Okay, cost benefit analysis. Now if there is a internet shutdown, definitely the cost will be that you are violating rights of the people. If there is a internet shutdown, the cost will be you are violating rights of people. But you have to analyze whether this step, is it producing any benefit? Whether this step, is it producing any benefit for the society? This is what has been told by Supreme Court, that blindly in each and every case you cannot announce internet shutdown. You have to look into these aspects, जो भी आप कर रहे हो बेसिकली यू आर टेकिंग अवे समवंस लिबर्टी, समवंस राइट। आप किसी का राइट ले रहे हो, किसी की लिबर्टी ले रहे हो। सो इफ यू आर टेकिंग अवे समवंस राइट, समवंस लिबर्टी, इन रिटर्न ऑफ दैट, इज इट प्रोड्यूसिंग एनी बेनिफिट? Is it producing any benefit? That's the fundamental point here. Okay, that's the fundamental point here. वही चीज जो है यहाँ पे बोली गई है, ठीक है ना। सो ये चीज आपको थोड़ा सा इधर से ध्यान रखना है. These are some of the aspects related to internet shutdown. Okay, so Delhi schools shut till November 21. Okay, so we know the situation is really very bad, but the point here is that who is responsible for this? Okay, who is responsible for this? This is the question here. And why we have this problem time and again? One of the reason is that pollution in this country is not a political issue. Pollution is not a political issue here. Okay, so you and me, we are not going to give our vote based on pollution, that government is fighting for the pollution, fighting against pollution, so let's elect that government. That's the fundamental point here. That's why neither our representatives nor our people nor our bureaucrats, they are serious about this pollution issue. Okay, throughout the year we are silent, we don't do anything. Even your media houses, now they make seasonal, or I can term it as festival approach. दिवाली पे क्रैकर को क्रिटिसाइज कर दो. ओके, अभी एकदम से लाइक वेन एवर द लेवल ऑफ पोल्यूशन इंक्रीजेज देन यू स्टार्ट क्रिटिसाइजिंग फार्मर्स फॉर स्टबल बर्निंग. आई एम आस्किंग थ्रू आउट द ईयर व्हाट वर यू डूइंग? What were you doing? Did you check that whether government has done any preparation or not? Any media house, did they ever check whether the government has done any preparation or not? That's the point here. That's the point here. Definitely the construction activity has been halted, but to what extent can you halt the construction activity? कितने दूर तक जाके आप construction activity को रोकोगे? That's the point here. Okay, that's the fundamental point here. So this is the like news here. These are the things that you have to look into. So let's look into the international page. Okay, see, please pay attention here. Now Kilinochi farmers dread their first harvest after Sri Lanka's fertilizer ban. Okay, government had this organic only policy since May, and this has drawn flack from the farmers and experts. See, you need to understand, you Sri Lankan government, they want to make Sri Lanka a organic country. Okay, that they want to make sure that all the agriculture activity, it remains organic. Definitely it's a good thing, it's a good thing that you are promoting organic activity, but you need to understand this is a top down approach. Okay, with strict banning. Now when you are doing something like this, it is going to impact the agrarian economy. It is going to impact the agrarian economy. Okay, so without streamlining a system, Sri Lanka brought this particular idea and they banned the use of fertilizer. They banned the use of fertilizer, and it emerged as a agrarian crisis in Sri Lanka. Over the time, that agrarian crisis developed into the economic crisis for Sri Lanka. Okay, that agrarian crisis, it developed into economic crisis for Sri Lanka, and that's the problem which is going on in Sri Lanka right now. So if you are going to bring something with top down approach without persuasion, okay, ideally what should have been done? Instead of declaring this, instead of using this top down approach, the Sri Lankan government should have carried out persuasion that okay, in a systematic manner, in an incremental manner, they are going to make their whole country as organic country. But it should have been done in a systematic way. Right now, they have just dismantled the old system and they want to install a new system. There is more turbulence. Jada hil gaya Sri Lanka ki economy. Okay, so this is the problem which is going on, and this is showing that the Rajapaksa president, he is lacking in the vision. Okay, कहीं ना कहीं उनके अंदर vision की कमी है. This is the point here. So next news is related to Biden and Z agree on need to avoid conflict amid differences. Okay, so this is a really important development. Definitely I told you about this particular thing. So they have to like avoid the conflict. It is good for the whole world as well. Okay, so you need to understand US China. So global, you can say, number one economy, number two economy. Okay, so they have a major chunk in global economy. Earlier they had differences. We knew about this particular point, how protectionism it created trouble. Okay, so we knew about this particular thing. So in this particular future, if we seriously want to revive our economy, definitely we have to avoid such situation. We have to avoid such situation. That's the point here. Okay, at every point we have to avoid such situation. This is the major point here. Okay, so ये आपको ध्यान रखना है. एंड अदर देन दैट देर इज नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. ओके, so we'll move to the next part now. Recovery taking hold, private investment should resume. This is what like Shritikant Das is pointing out. Okay, definitely. See, you need to understand whatever like investment that is going on, primarily it is the public investment which is pulling our economy. Okay, so if you observe from last, not even like during the corona crisis, even prior to corona crisis, the private investment was dipping in our country. Private investment was going significantly down. Okay, that was the problem. There were multiple issues. One of the issue was that your banks, because of the NPA, they were reluctant to give loans. अब बैंक आपको लोन नहीं दे रहे हैं NPA होने की वजह से. Definitely like private players, they will not be able to think innovatively, they will not be able to participate. Okay, so ये problem थी यहाँ पे. So right now he is saying that the private investment has to pick up, and it is important because government has its own limitations. हर जगह सरकार काम नहीं कर सकती है. Okay, so Goel urges MNCs to act as whistleblowers. Okay, now this is the really important thing he is pointing out. So he is making making an appeal to the multinationals, and they are saying, he is saying that okay, if you are facing any issue related, that if someone is asking for any bribe and all, you have to work like a whistleblower. Okay, you should work like a whistleblower, inform that matter to us, flag out the bottlenecks. Okay, what are the legal problems that you face, what are the bottlenecks that you face, just flag them out. We will definitely try to improve it. Okay, so it's a good thing that your minister is talking to them, and definitely it is a welcome step. It will definitely help us with ease of doing business. It will facilitate ease of doing business. Okay, so this is the good thing that he is announcing. So other than that, there is nothing much in this particular page. Okay, so directly move to this particular question. Now this is again your mains 2019 question. Okay, mains 2019 question that they have asked in your GS paper 3. This is what we are going to cover, and you can say that this is linked to your economy. Okay, this is linked to your economy. So before start of this question, let me address it out. IPS Yuvraj Thakur said, do you send the Hindu paper daily? Okay, see, I provide the PDF what we are what we are teaching here. Okay, so the PDF is available, not the complete the Hindu paper. Okay, that PDF is not available in our Telegram group. The PDF that we are discussing right now, that is available. Okay, so this is the point here. Now, what are the reformative steps taken by the government to make food distribution system more effective? This is the thing that they are asking. Okay, so first, how you are going to approach this question? A systematic question, straightforward question, that what are the steps taken by the government? Okay, कुछ ज़्यादा लंबा चौड़ा इसमें complexity है ही नहीं. There is no complexity in this particular question. It's a straightforward question. If you know the steps taken by the government, definitely it's a win-win game for you. Okay, but you have to address it in a certain way. First thing is that you have to write few things about the public distribution system as well. Now, public distribution system is a structured sponsored by a government which includes chain of shops entrusted with the work of distributing basic food and non-food commodities to the disadvantaged group of the society at a very reasonable price. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to write. You have to mention about the chain of shops which are termed as fair price shops. Okay, उनको बोला जाता है fair price shops. So you should know about this particular point, and this is how you have to write few lines about the PDS system, how the government is designing. this thing. Okay, so in that, the state and the central government, they share the responsibility of regulating this system. The government, they are using these days advanced technologies, computerization of the system has been carried out. Okay, and this is also an example of e-governance. Now, if you are writing a question on e-governance in your GS paper 2, there again you can mention about this point that okay, government has introduced e-governance model in the PDS system. ये चीज आपको जरूर वहां पे मेंशन करनी है, because this is an example of promotion of e-governance. Okay, that government is using the advanced technology such as computerization of public distribution system to accelerate the project. And definitely, if you are bringing in the technology, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Okay, now some of the reformative steps taken by the government, because that was the demand of that particular question. Simultaneously, we will see what type of problems have been eliminated by bringing these particular steps. So one of the action that the government has taken is the Aadhaar linkage. Okay, that you are linking Aadhaar card with the PDS, and it is important thing. Why? Because it has helped us to remove the ghost beneficiaries. Okay, remove the ghost beneficiaries. Ghost beneficiaries को आपने remove कर दिया. Because earlier what used to happen, suppose in an area, okay, the ration will come for 100 families. Okay, in an area the ration will come for 100 families, but in reality only 50 families are like living over there. Only 50 families are residing. So there used to be additional 50 ghost families. ऐसा होता था. And what these fair price shops used to do, they used to sell that their share, that extra 50 family like food grain in an open market. वो सरकार से भी पैसा ले लेते थे और उसके बाद ओपन मार्केट में भी बेच देते थे. That was the problem here. So along with that, this fair price shop, it has been automated now. It has been automated now. So there are point of sale devices which are going to identify कि कितना सेल हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, how much fund has been allocated. Okay, which ration card holder has been allocated the कितना food कितने ration card holders को दिया गया है. You keep a watch through this point of sale machine. एक device लग जाता है which is keeping an eye over it. Okay, so वहां से सारी चीजें आप scan करते हो. Other than that, we have also introduced the direct benefit transfer, where the subsidy is transferred directly to the banks of beneficiaries. उनके डायरेक्टली उनके बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा जा रहा है. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ दिस हैज कंप्लीटली रिफॉर्म्ड द सिस्टम. Other than that, another important thing, that is GPS technology. So we are using the GPS tracker in the trucks. See, food grain will come to your shop through trucks only. Sometimes what used to has happened, those trucks वो अपना रास्ता कुछ में कुछ कहीं चले जाते थे. ओके, जो एक जगह से गोडाउन से जो है द फूड ग्रेन हैज बीन रिलीज्ड. आफ्टर दैट द वेयर ट्रक इज मूविंग, देयर इज नो, यू कैन से देयर वाज नो arrangement for that. So right now, with the help of GPS tracking system, we can keep an eye. Okay, the where truck is moving, whether the truck is moving towards the destination or not. जो destination है वहां तक जा भी रहा है कि नहीं. So this is how it is going to help us in preventing the diversion of food grains. Otherwise, what used to have happened, those particular food grains would have diverted to some other area. ऐसा जरूर होता था पहले. Okay, then you have SMS updates. Okay, so beneficiaries, they will regularly receive the SMS. Okay, whether the food has been like arranged or not. Food आ गया, आप आ जाइए, today the truck will come. So they will also get some inputs about it. Okay, earlier what used to have happened, इतनी लंबी लाइन होती थी, जब आपका नंबर आता था तो सामने से साहूकार बोल देता था कि राशन खत्म हो गया. लुक, जस्ट वॉच द ओल्ड मूवीज. ओके, जस्ट वॉच द ओल्ड मूवीज, old Bollywood movies, they will mention about it. There used to be a long queue. Okay, as soon as the queue ends, the turn of a person comes, he used to say ration is no more. So here you will get an SMS update कि राशन कितना है और कैसा है. ठीक है ना. That's the point here. That's the major point here. Other than that, we have this web-based citizen portal. Okay, we have started to address the grievances of the beneficiaries. what sort of complaints do they have, they can report those complaints about fair price or any other matter on that web portal. Okay, वहां पे जाके वो जरूर ये कर सकते हैं. Then interstate PDS portability has been facilitated. Okay, so you know about this particular thing. We are already working on one ration card. Okay, the government is working on one ration card, so that ration card portability will also be facilitated. So this is how this particular idea of PDF, these steps have been taken to reform the system. ओके, ये सारी चीजें की गई हैं आपके सिस्टम को रिफॉर्म करने के लिए. सो दैट्स इट फॉर द डे देन. Thank you very much. I guess I have addressed your doubt. Okay, so yesterday one student had a doubt. He can definitely ask that doubt. So as the session ended, like I saw his doubt. So what was his doubt? I am not able to recall his name here. So definitely if you have any doubt you can share it. Okay, so आप doubt पूछ सकते हो if you have any doubt related to any other topic. So just I'll wait for 5 more minutes. So if you have any doubt, please you can shoot your doubt. I will listen to that. Okay, so please shoot your doubt. Okay, so whatever doubt you have, just share it in the comment section. Otherwise, if you have no doubt, then we will end this session here. So yesterday there was, see, sometimes what happens, as soon as there is a lag of minimum 50 seconds. Okay, so if I am not able to see any doubt in the comment section, I have to end this particular program. Okay, सो एक घोड़ा राम बड़े अजीब से सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. पूछ रहे हैं लालू यादव की आंखों की विक्षेपण क्षमता कितनी है. सर आप कर लो ना खुद. घोड़ा राम जी, मस्ती मजाक करने आए हो यहाँ पे आप. चलो, करना थोड़ा अच्छा होता है, सेहत अच्छी हो जाती है, लेकिन आपका जीवन में कुछ नहीं बनेगा. जो हंसता है बाद में रोता भोता है वो. ठीक है, तो दिस इज माय रिक्वेस्ट. डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम एंड अदर्स टाइम एज वेल. अपना भी टाइम वेस्ट मत करो और दूसरों का टाइम भी वेस्ट मत करो. ओके, this is the point. So Jay Prakash Sahu is asking, why are we failing in Kashmir even after so much effort? Okay, see, you are asking this doubt. First of all, you need to understand, how can you say that we are failing? How can you say that we are failing? Okay, if there are say 50, 60 or say 100 people, now 100 people out of crore, it is minuscule, very less. It is minuscule, very less. So if you compare the present situation with 90s, it is nowhere near. It is nowhere near. Okay, yes, there is no doubt that absolute peace is not there, but the scale of violence is also not that much. This is the point here. कुछ खास violence नहीं है, डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. Things are very much under our control. Okay, things are very much under our control. This is the point here. So like we are not failing. Definitely things will take time. Okay, see, you need to understand, this is about the social change. This is about the change of mindset, and we are not using force for that. Okay, there is a limitation. We have stationed our army, our armed forces, they are in Kashmir. They are only there to maintain law and order. That okay, law and order is maintained. They are only for that purpose. We are not using force on local population. That's the point here. So major idea of nation building is of mental mindset. Okay, social engagement. It will take some time. It will take some time. Okay, it will take some time, and I already told you about this particular point. So in that, perception matters a lot. Perception matters a lot. That's the point here. वो चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पे. ओके, सो देर इज अनदर डाउट. वन स्टूडेंट इज आस्किंग, सर प्लीज एक्सप्लेन स्टेट एंड नॉन स्टेट terrorism. Okay, state and non-state terrorism. See, you need to understand one thing. State sponsored. It means that there is a particular country behind that act. So suppose say we say that the terrorism in Kashmir is basically propagated by Pakistan. तो पाकिस्तान है उसके पीछे. So that is termed as state sponsored terrorism. Okay, state sponsored terrorism. But if you look into the other aspect, there could be a case where a particular organization they may start indulging in violence. They may start indulging in violence without the support from any other country, without the support from any third country. Okay, so there are some organizations specifically in our northeastern states. They are not enjoying any support from other countries. They are India based terrorist organization which want to create trouble for us. Okay, which want to create trouble for us. So that's the point here. That's the point here. So Ishika, what was your doubt? You have like retracted your message, so feel free to ask your doubts, otherwise we can end the session. Sumit, I hope you are convinced with the explanation. Chaliye. So I guess there is like I'm not able to see any doubt in this comment section. Okay, so Tanu, you are late. No way, you can always watch this session again. So I guess we can. Okay, Ishika is asking, sir, before explaining particular topic, can you just say that topic will be related to GS 1, 2, 3, 4? See, I always do that. I always do that if you look into this particular point. Okay, so definitely, like with the start of the session, we covered few things. So I told you about this particular thing, the overground worker. This question has been asked in your mains paper 2019, and this was related to your GS paper 3. Okay, so I told you about that thing, that this question was asked in your GS paper 3, and the Kashmir issue, it is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, so it can be linked to your GS paper 2 as well in your international relations. Okay, so this is what we have covered. Other than that, if you want this NRC issue, the question can be asked in your GS paper 2. Okay, so in your GS paper 2, the question can be asked related to like things and all, citizenship and all, उससे question पूछ सकते हैं. Then other than that, like this particular topic is related to your international relations. Okay, international relations plus your internal security. Okay, international relations plus your internal security, that is in both GS paper 2 as well as in your GS paper 3, the question can be asked. Okay, दोनों जगहों पे सवाल किया जा सकता है. So if you move to next part here now, internet shutdown, definitely it is related to your fundamental rights and the question can be framed in your GS paper 2. Okay, so polity and governance में question पूछेगा. Then again this is related to governance, the question can be framed in your GS paper 2. Okay, this is related to governance and the question can be framed in GS paper 2. If we move to the next part, we have discussed this question that is related to your economy, and it was asked in your GS paper 3 itself. Okay, so I guess your concern has been addressed. Definitely sometimes I forget also, like please do remind me with the start of the session. Okay, sometimes what happens with the flow of the session, like we might forget few things, so it is always there that with your participation also we can improve our session. आपके चीजों से भी ऐसा हो सकता है. So Michelle Lamhingwa sir, at what time PubAd class will start? So today it is going to be there at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so today we are going to start public administration, so I told you this thing. So PubAd, the session will start at 2:30. We are going to provide you the link. I have already shared the numbers. You can enroll it there. Okay, for the link and all, the staff will contact you for that. Okay, so आपके पास थोड़ी बहुत जो है information आ जाएगी. At 2:30 we are going to start. Okay, at 2:30 we are going to start. चलिए, so that's it for the day then. That's it for the day then. Thank you very much. We are ending the session now.